Yeah.
Joga a bunda pra cima. 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 Joga a bunda pra cima, 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 joga a bunda pra cima. 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 Joga a bunda pra cima.
Well, hello once again, everybody. Welcome back to Soccer's Overtime, your weekly look inside the San Diego Soccers and the Major Arena Soccer League, coming to you streaming live on SanDiego.Futbol. Alongside Tony Sanchez, my name's Craig Elston. This is Season 8, Episode 12 of Soccer's Overtime. In golf tournaments, Saturdays are called Moving Day because that's the day that you make the move up the leaderboard or you wind up stuck somewhere down in the middle. I'm calling this weekend's show Moving Weekend because it really feels, Tony, like it's that kind of weekend for the San Diego Soccers at Kansas City Saturday night. Sunday afternoon, you and I will be there for the call on Fox Soccer Plus and MASL TV for the Soccers and the Empire Strikers, a team that won't have played all week. Whereas San Diego will be flying in Sunday morning from Missouri to play the match. This is a moving weekend. It could go one way or another.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting time for the Soccers on this side of the season. And look, it's looking like you're trending upwards, like you're trending in a much healthier direction for sure.
And we're going to bring it all to you on this week's episode of Soccer's Overtime. Here's what we got cooked up for you on the show tonight. Streaming to you live on YouTube. Always great to have our live audience. Tonight, Soccers show up on Alumni Night, show out for the alumni. Not just a winning performance, a dominant, an artistic performance in many examples for the San Diego Soccers. We've got the highlights for you. Then, star of the game, Juan Salazar will join us. He'll talk about his battle to stay in the lineup, what he's learned and continues to learn in his third season as an indoor professional. In MASL news, it wasn't me, was it, Everton? It wasn't our interview, was it? Everton Moreira sacked by Utica mere hours after we featured him on MASL TV. Yikes. Plus, the top spot on the table changes hands on Kids Day. It was child's play for Milwaukee to take down Kansas City. We'll take a look at the latest around the Major Arena Soccer League. In soccer's news, it's a massive weekend ahead. We'll preview it all for you. Again, thanks for being here, especially our live audience. Make sure if you're there, you can hit that thumbs up button right away. Let's get every single person in the audience smashing that like button if you appreciate what we do for you, for Soccers and the MASL. For everybody who's watching on replay later on, thanks a lot. You can still do the same thing, can't you? Huh? Thumbs up, subscribe, appreciate it. If you're listening to the audio version of this show, know you're missing the highlight reels that we play, so on and so forth. But also, if you can offer us a kind rating, a 5-star rating, a kind written review, all those things are helpful to the show. To really, we're not in this one to get 15,000 followers or to, break the bank. Soccers Overtime is a labor of love for the San Diego Soccers, for the MASL, and for the indoor soccer fans who don't have anyone talking about their team. We want to be somebody who talks about the sport. And whether you like all the things we say or only some of them, we do appreciate everybody who checks in week by week. All right. With that, Bobby Cressy has a live performance of his album Cali Native coming up in March. Check that out on Bobby's Instagram page at Bobby Cressy. I think it's March 20th, if I remember right. But check that out, because I'm going to be checking it out as Bobby performs live all the songs from Cali Native. I saw him do that once at, I don't know if it was the Prado or it was at some place in Balboa Park. It was at one of the spots. There it is, March 20th. Cali Native Funk at Lulu's Club in El Cajon. Kind of down the street, sort of, just across the city border for me here in La Mesa. So, yeah, check that out with Bobby. Thank you, Bobby, for the theme song. Okay, well, you said it, Tony, the team trending in a healthier direction. And, I think we really saw the Soccers at their wits' end the weekend prior. And the overtime win against Tacoma. I think we saw the team at its low water mark, and I'll go ahead and knock wood as I say that, but at the team's low water mark. You get back Charlie Gonzalez, you get back Tavoy Morgan, you get back Cesar Cerda, you get back Craig Childs. You're a better team than you were the week before. I think that just goes without saying.
Yeah, and I mean, just looking at the lineup and the youth, the age of the players that are available for the San Diego Soccers, it does get a little bit better, but overall still a veteran team. But I think now the veterans also know how to manage their body better and just go through the motions of the week in a smart way as well. But overall, it was a good thing to see. I mean, looking at Chadley, like Chadley's the one that I was like, I need that person in that lineup more than anybody, just creative wise, getting a load off of Nick Pereira and just kind of having that creativity to really bounce off of. And I think that's the biggest win for San Diego this weekend. Yes, absolutely. You take it to Utica, you get a victory in front of the alumni, and it was great turnout. A lot of people came out. It was one of the most rocking attended San Diego Soccers game that I've been at. That's not a playoff game. And overall they met the moment, and it's all thanks to just getting the health back and the fitness back. And you're starting to see some moments where there is a little bit of disconnection, but just because they haven't had those real-time minutes. But really quickly, you start to see that talent start to creep in, and the professionalism, and just how good these guys are on the floor.
Let's roll in the highlights, as always, provided and curated for us by soccer superfan Eddie Trujillo. It's the Soccers and Utica City FC on Alumni Night. And very early on, in fact, this was like 20 seconds into the match, an opportunity for 1-0. Ball bouncing the wrong way. Here, chance in front. I called him Chase Hansen, sorry. That's Belliard of UCFC. Number 2 in front was Tacoma last week. Still early days, just the second minute, when Juan Salazar is given the left foot to shoot, is given the space to step to his left foot and take a crack. I tell you what, when you do that, you're going to give up a goal a lot. Juancho puts him up 1-0.
And, when you look at the transition from an outdoor player to the indoor game, one of the things that they all kind of settle upon is just that long shot outside of the box. And Juancho is just now figuring that out to be consistent with it and taking those shots with confidence. And that's not a shot that we would potentially see him do. He might have taken an extra touch, but he takes it at the right time, and he's rewarded with the goal.
Here comes Utica the other way, and this is a play that is nicely warded off by Boris Pardo, but we figured counterattacks would be a big part of the game. And then this was an interesting moment and a rare time of prudence from Phil Salvaggio not to throw his challenge flag. Looks like the game's perfectly safe. Ball is defended by Serta in the corner, and then he literally passes it to the middle for Willie Spur to tap in as if he was a Utica double agent for just a second in time. 1-1 is the score. But the controversy behind this is that Brian Wilkin probably did handle the ball. Let's take another look.
Yeah. There's contact with the arm, for sure. But is that enough?
Well, not enough to stop that. Oh, my goodness. Childs gets an assist, but this is one of Leo's just all-time laser beams. What a ridiculous goal. To be able to get your hip and leg up and foot to be able to put your laces through the ball from this angle. Take another look at it.
Boom. Yeah, no,
That's
he's
sick.
really liking that side of the floor I mentioned on the broadcast, because the goal that hit the crossbar and went in last week before this, and this volley off of a Craig assist. And this is vintage San Diego soccer is what we're seeing really come back up with their availability.
And one deserves another. We gave one to Utica. Utica gives one back, a fat pass rolling backward that was just a juicy plum for Tavoy Morgan to pick up and take a bite out of. And Morgan absolutely crushes one. You have to hope that this is one of those kind of goals that gets Tavoy rolling.
Yeah, I mean, that smile, right? Like we see some players that are driven by the emotions and how their intangibles are kind of going. And he's one player that doesn't do well when he's not enjoying it. And he seems to kind of come back into that classic Tavoy. I enjoy the feeling. I enjoy getting pressed, but I'm also staying upright and finding chances to get shots on. And he took that one, and it was in itself, that also was a golazo.
Lovely little finish here to the quarter defensively, as first you get the blocked shot out in front, and then Boris with the tough save through traffic right at the horn to end. There's a great little pirouette from Charlie Gonzalez. We talked about that on the broadcast. All kinds of great movement in this game. Wonderful chance for Childs there. Wilkin plays the villain, defends it. Loved this little slip move from Adrian Reyes. First to slip between two defenders with that diagonal sidestep, and then to do the drag as he did, just to continue to pull the keeper out of position. Absolutely outstanding goal by the rookie Adrian Reyes.
Yeah, it's the timing, that hesitation that he has on that extra look, and like, I need to set myself, set, and then he launches right there. Usually that shot would have gone off just a second before, but it's that timing, intentionality and timing that he does that makes that a goal and has a bigger success rate.
Oh, almost for Marcel Sanchez, his first. He was in the goal, but unfortunately the ball was not. Another opportunity. Great save there by Wilkin, who played okay in this game. Tavoy, another, point blank paw away. Herrera working the corner for Leo, trying to step out of a double. Oh my goodness. This guy steps out of the double team, rolls in, and gets tackled. Leo had an outstanding night on the ball.
Yeah, no, again, like the dribbling presence that he has, he needs to be American football tackle to be brought down. And, he's just unstoppable when he's feeling it. And it's that Brazilian flair, the samba that just flows through his body and is just incredible. One of one stuff, Leo.
So that gives Craig Childs the chance to do that. And Craig Childs can do that. And he will keep doing that as long as he gets a chance. He's I don't think I've ever seen him miss a penalty kick. And I don't think I've ever seen him take a penalty kick in any other fashion. He just hits it like 85 miles an hour straight up into the top of the net. And how do you defend that? I guess grow.
I mean, just stand there. But that's the thing. Like, even if you're standing there with your hands up, the velocity that's coming at you in that short of distance, it's almost impossible for any goalkeeper to react unless you're perfectly placed. And even then, it's probably going to drag you into the goal as well.
So 5-1, everyone's laughing and scratching, and then, let's give up 2 goals in a right quick hurry. That's a missed tackle opportunity for San Diego, and it winds up in the back of the net. And, as you'll hear us talk about with Juan Salazar, it's not the goals you score right now that's going to keep you on the floor. It's the goals you allow that'll take you off the floor. And that was a step-up steal moment that didn't work out for San Diego. And then it's not very long after. Look at that. Right down the middle, Sergio Pinal. The man marker is late on the trail. Double team takes the ball. And this is just a routine play, essentially, for 5-3. A moment where you start to get a little concerned. But the Sockers do come right back. And here it is with Leo. The back and forth with the head fake, feeding Felipe for the goal. More artistry out of the corner. Juan fed him in. And back to a 3-goal lead.
Yeah, and I mean, this is something that we've talked about, right? Like letting the opponent come back into the game. It seemed like they were going into that 5-3. Oh, okay, if one more comes in, now you have yourself a game. But I think the Sockers did a really good job of making sure to maintain the offensive pressure on as well. The entire game, they had Utica pinned to their back, and they had a hard time coming out of their own defensive end, Utica, and the Sockers were pressing, and being rewarded for it, like you see there.
Sanchez with the steal. Sanchez with the setup. Sanchez follows Charlie's shot that was saved. Back heels it up for Cesar to pick up a goal. That was all about the 18-year-old out of the Speed to Burn Paul Wright program, Del Norte High School. Marcel Sanchez. Impressive.
Yeah, and it's, again, learning to finish the runs that are designed and knowing when to put that pressure on. Marcel does the incredible run back heel and continues with the ball. He didn't just stop and start ball watching and enjoy the play from the back. No, he knows he needs to get involved somewhere. And even if he's not the one that scores it, he also allows his teammate to come in and clean up the dirty work that he had already done.
And right here, taking one off the line, Adrian Reyes.
He's rookies, man.
Yeah, 2nd out of 3 games that he's saved a goal, along with scoring a goal. Here's one left right in front. Good job by Felipe just to hold off folks long enough. Boris painfully pulls that one in to keep it 7-3. This is late 3rd quarter. This is when anything could still happen. God, watching that again, it almost looked like a handball, but it wasn't. And then, seconds later, Juan Salazar, you give him space to his left. Kid's going to score goals. Like, he can do this, and he'll keep doing it if you let him.
Yeah, and he's finding those windows and learning exactly when to pull the trigger. He had a couple of chances, and he gives himself a more narrow angle as well, but he knows that if he gets close enough and he puts it exactly where he needs to, nobody's stopping it, and that's what he's kind of learning in these moments, and he's taking advantage of every opportunity that he has in the last couple of games. And here, Utica, trying to do what they are designed to do as well. It's just keep fighting and try to make a game out of this.
Yeah, they go to 6th attacker to start the 4th quarter, and Pinal, who's a big body and a young power forward that looks like, if he can stay with it, he can score a lot of goals in this league. Oh, my goodness. Watching this again, that's Sebastian Mendez's cast going just directly in. Now, I haven't heard anything in terms of a medical fallout from this the last couple of days. So, again, knock wood, Sebastian made it through that without a re-fracture through the cast, because he absolutely could have. And it was not on purpose. It was, and it's also the nature of Sebastian, who's a spider monkey around the backs of the attackers all the time. Him getting the second blue was kind of a, I don't know. But 4v4, terrible giveaway by Utica, and then they pull down Pee Wee, and as the blue card's out, everyone stops, but the whistle is not sounded, and Mitchell realizes that, picks up the ball, and scores. Second straight home game, the Sockers have scored a goal while the other team was staring at the referee.
Yeah, I mean, play to the whistle. That's we start with AYSO and kindergarten kids, letting them know if that whistle blows, you stop. If not, you keep playing, right? And that's exactly what happens here. Pee Wee also realizes it's been a little bit too late, or otherwise that would have been his goal. Got it now, swoops in. He's like, all right, I'm here. I got it.
Pee Wee's fine, though. He got an assist for that. I think Sigich got the assist, man. Or honestly, you could just give it to Utica. And then here's a long forward pass by Mitchell. Slam dunk. Reyes. Sockers breaking the sixth attacker. Utica got one with the sixth attacker, but the Sockers got three against it. And then for good measure, more. Tavoy, I'll just wait till now. I like the delay on that one. That was a nice goal, and that's a 2-goal game for Tavoy, and that's the kind of thing you really, really want to see. Is Tavoy getting a hat trick, getting a 2-goal game, starting to rack up some goals, rack up some points, because a Tavoy Nick forward rotation, which is what the Sockers employed on Saturday. I want to be clear about that. The Sockers did not have Craig Childs at forward on Saturday. Craig Childs was listed in the midfield. And, of course, not to run around in midfield shifts. He was there as a sixth midfielder so that he could participate in free kicks, power plays, which we didn't have any power plays, but he would have been out there on power plays, set piece situations, free kick, set piece, offensive zone situations. Craig will jump in. Otherwise, laying a little bit low. And that gives you, by doing that, a forward rotation of Tavoy and Nick and Tavoy and Nick. And then you have a defensive runner. And that can be a Juan Salazar. That could be a Mendez. It was Jose Gonzalez. When Bebe comes back, maybe Bebe gets that spot back again. But it can be somebody else that's running, hustling, playing on the counterattack. And then you've got the forwards getting regular burn, which means they get into the rhythm of the game. They're getting hit early. They're getting the ball at their feet early. They're getting the feel for the match, in the first few minutes, as opposed to maybe it's the second quarter and they've only had 3 shifts and it doesn't feel like the game's ever going to come to you. That's what was happening early in the year with the 3 forward rotation. So I think the Sockers are onto something here. And while Nick didn't have a gigantic game, he didn't have to. 7 players scored in multiple point situation, got 2 points or more. Cardenas got the most points with a goal and 2 assists. So that's the kind of balanced attack that San Diego can do that very few other clubs in the league can do. Milwaukee can do it. Kansas City can do it. And the Sockers can do it.
Yeah, and again, it's getting that rhythm and understanding everybody's talents and positioning on the field. You have players in different levels. You're talking about the rookies who are obviously they're talented, but they also have to acclimate to the way that the Sockers need to play and the stylistic, philosophical way that the Sockers play. But also the Sockers themselves need to find that new philosophy with Nick Pereira. And I think now that is starting to gel together, and the slow drip of availability for the players is also allowing for that to flourish in a natural way when you're not just saying, all right, everybody's back, go, because then you're almost stuck finding that chemistry back again, and it's even harder. But I think it's been beneficial for the Sockers to be able to have gone through that month of January and gone through what they did on the road with that skeleton lineup, because now you already have the base, and now you're just adding to that base. It's almost as if these are transfers that are coming back into the squad that are revitalizing the style that was already there, and they're accenting what the San Diego Sockers have been doing well this season.
Absolutely. Great win. Great team win. The youth is really working. Role players like Felipe Gonzalez, good call, Paulie, being back, that's adding so much, because not only can he defend, but he's just really smart on the floor. You want people with high soccer IQs. And honestly, the first wave of returnees was bringing back the smarts of the team with Felipe and Pee Wee. These are the two guys who probably have the most like innate soccer IQ of anybody on the club. And then you bring in the wave of talent with Tavoy and Serta and Charlie. And Cesar didn't have his best game, but he did get a goal and an assist. And it's nice to see because, I mean, a couple of years ago, Cesar was scoring some goals and, you know, he was double-digit goals. He can do that. He scored one of the biggest clutch goals in the history of the San Diego Sockers to win the 2021 championship in extra time. You know, so that's a part of what makes him a great, is that he's not just a tenacious defender. He's also somebody who adds a little offensive, you know, clutch pizzazz. So to see that, really encouraging. Not his best night defensively, but he's coming back from a hamstring, which for his position, which is such a reactive position, and you're constantly bursting. Think about how many times you're going one way and then you have to go the other way as fast as you can for 3 steps. It's a very, very difficult thing to come back from. So looking forward to just seeing him get better and better week by week. I thought Charlie was, you know, just okay compared to what we know he can do. But it's first game back. And these guys are being careful, and that's the exact right thing to do, because look at what this weekend brings. You know, think about nursing something and then getting on a plane to go all the way. By the way, they get in Kansas City, you know, little mini soccer's news here, like at 1:30 in the morning. They'll be in for the game that's later that night at, you know, 7 o'clock or whatever. And then flying out pre-dawn the next morning to get back to play the Empire game. This might be the single worst travel situation. In fact, I'd say yes. This is the single worst and most challenging travel situation, because you've got to travel on both sides of it, not just one side, right? There was the time that we did play Empire, fly to Tacoma the morning of the game, lose to Tacoma, but you at least played at home the first night. This one is fly to Kansas City, get there the morning of Saturday, play Saturday night, leave pre-dawn Sunday, get back. Empire hasn't played all week. They've been practicing at your arena since 10 in the morning, and they're going to just be lying in wait, waiting for you. The bizarre home game where the opposing team is lying in wait. So for San Diego to get a win in Kansas City would be gigantic. And you don't want to go down 2-3 in the season series against Empire. So this is just a big, big weekend. And I think a pretty momentous one. And I agree with Bruce. Baltimore Utica, incredibly tough. Incredibly tough. But it's not an 8-hour bus ride sucks, man. And I've been on plenty of them. When I was with the Gulls, we did that all the time. And it's not fun. It's not fun. But a flight from Missouri to California, I think that's worse. Getting up just a couple hours, basically after you go to bed, everything has to be packed. You don't sleep at all because you're waiting for the alarm, and then you're back on. And when are you going to sleep? On the plane, on the bus to the airport, in the van to the airport? You've got almost no chance to rest. And then Empire's at all the world to rest. So it's going to be a challenge, Tony.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this team is battle tested enough to know what it takes to go on the road and get some of these results. And it's almost including the players that didn't play in those games in the mentality and the just telling them that this is possible. Because looking at the roster for the Sockers, I'd say this is definitely possible. You do play a tough Kansas City team, but at the end of the day, this Sockers team is able to now seem to load manage within the game and just be smarter with what their output is, because they're allowed to do that, because they have the bench for it. They have the trust in these players, and even in the players that are coming in the rookies, right? Now you have some trust in situations where you wouldn't give them the ball because I don't know what they're going to do with it. They're going to lose it, and then I have to go back and track back because they don't know how to go ahead and play this style. No. Now I know what their capabilities are. Maybe I can set them up better if I'm a veteran and I can rely on them to do something, and also know that they know if they lose the ball, they are the first defender in that moment as well.
Well, hey, it's the bottom of the hour, and let's bring in our special guest now. Earlier today, after practice, and him getting a chance to get home and whatnot, had the opportunity to chat with Juan Salazar. He is currently at his other gig. Right now, he could be fashioning, a Moscow Mule or a margarita or
What's a Colombian drink?
something involving Topo Chico. I don't know. That probably has nothing to do with Colombia, actually, but I just imagine them having Topo Chico there for some reason. Yeah, good question. That's a question I wish I had asked. What's a good Colombian cocktail? He'd probably just laugh and say, something with tequila. Nonetheless, pre-recorded. Just wanted to let you know that. That's why Tony's not there. So, in fact, I think I started saying thanks, Tony. So,
I'll
take
go ahead and go into the time machine here and welcome on one of the highlights of this season, a Colombian player coming in, newly re-healthified, and we'll go ahead and go in the time machine and say hi to Craig and Juancho.
All right, Tony, thanks a lot. Here he is, the man who sets Front Wave Arena on its ear with the big goal to get things started in that 11-4 win over Utica. Wound up being introduced to the crowd as the post-match interview as well. Juan Salazar joining us on Soccer's Overtime. Juan, thanks as always for the time, my friend. How are you?
Great. A pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me, Craig. Thank you.
Well, we've gotten the chance to interact a lot this year, whether it's Super Soccers for some games, whether it's just hanging out, chatting to, before matches as well. And I know you've been fighting to first early in the season, get healthy, right? You were in a walking boot early in the year, and then fight your way into a lineup that is very difficult to get into. So how do you feel here at the halfway mark in terms of accomplishing your goals?
Yeah, so the beginning of the season was rough for me because I broke my foot on the first day of preseason. Um, Actually, not like preseason, like captain's practice preseason. So it wasn't even like official training, and I ended up having a broken bone on my foot, and so I was out for 6 weeks, which held me back all the preseason. So the 3 weeks we had a preseason, I didn't train one single day, which was kind of hard for me because I'm still in the point where I'm trying to earn my spot. And that's going to be a good time for me to kind of showcase what I can do, what I can bring to the team. And then now when the team starts playing, they start winning games, kind of things start getting back into place. Then I got healthy, and then now I've just been fighting to get some minutes, and still fighting for it. It's still not like I have my spot. I still gotta show up to training every day and do my best because, like you said, it's not easy to get in.
And the indoor game is such a different game. I think speaking to the coaches, on our weekly calls and whatnot, I think everyone knows what you can do with your left foot. You can put your laces through the ball. You can score goals with that foot. You've got one of the best lefts in the MASL. But what's all the other stuff that they talk to you about, other than getting the ball on your foot and roping it inside the bag?
Yeah, they mainly, if honestly talking, the reason why sometimes maybe I don't play that much is because of my defensive strengths. Just because I was an outdoor player my whole life, and transitioning from outdoor to indoor 2 years ago when I joined the team, it was hard. It's hard, trust me. But I think I've gotten way better. I mean, you can tell from my first game at the Pachanga. I don't know if you remember, all the way to right here against Utica. So I feel like I'm a much better indoor player. However, I still need to improve a lot on my defensive side. Which someone told me something. Soccer's, they have so many players that can score goals, so many. But that's why defense is so important, because they don't need another goal scorer because they have so many. They need to keep the game four goals or less. So, but I've been getting better. But yes, mainly it's my defensive things that I gotta kind of like improve more and keep working on.
Along those lines, I know one of the positions that the staff sees you in theoretically is defensive runner, which sounds like it sounds like an unglamorous position because
Yeah.
the forward comes off, you run on, you're there to defend and then run back off. But also, defensive runner is the number one counterattack position on a
Yes.
club, the guy who can turn defense into offense the other way. Would you agree that your skill sets match that pretty decently?
I would say that if you look back at the two goals that I scored in against Utica this past weekend, was counterattack pretty much. That was when the ball, it was in a counterattack when Nick played the ball, and then it was just a 1v1, and then I shot. That's a situation that I can put myself in as a D runner, and then also the second goal too. When Charlie played the ball to Micho, and then I just run from the back, and it was like I had so much space in front of me. I feel like when I have so much space in front of me, I'm very good at that. So because I can create a shot, and then when I have the shot, I can shoot, and I have the stamina to run for days. So also I can run, and then I have the strength to win my 1v1 battles. So absolutely, and you say it's a humbling position, which I'm willing to take. Because I I want to be in the field, whatever it is. Even if they need a goalkeeper, like I would actually be a goalkeeper. That's what I'm trying to say. Just because like I want to be on the field, I want to play every game. So if they need me there, I'll do it. Hopefully, I get the chance to showcase that. Not just words, but if they really want me there, then just put me in there a game and see how good I can do, and then judge up based on that.
Yeah, I mean it's always a battle. The Sockers have one of the most veteran teams. I mean, I
Yeah,
think the most veteran team in the MASL, and they've got a lot of guys who have played the game for a dozen years, 15 years.
yeah.
In Craig's case, 17 years. So along those lines, though, I offer these moments in order to offer positive light, moments of light, which is you're one of the younger players on the
No, yeah.
team. So it's one of those things. If you can keep absorbing and keep learning, the future's bright for you because the players are aging off the roster.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and that's what I've tried to do every since I got here. That's why I got very close to Leo, Pee Wee, Serda, Mitchell, like all those guys have been playing forever. And then ever since I got here, I'm asking so many questions and just trying to understand what it takes to be a San Diego soccer, which is more than just the team. It's the community. It represents everything. And when I got to learn that, as I was like, I'm honored to be here, and I always said it since the day one, and especially because practice, like when we play 5v5 in practice, it's sometimes harder than the game, like because I usually on the other team, like they divide the teams, they do like the team, the start of the team, and then they do like the other guys that are trying to get into the squad. So I'm pretty much every day playing against those guys. Little so like when it comes to play a regular other game, I feel really ready because I had to go 1v1 against Serta, or I have to defend Leo, and then I have to defend Charlie, or sometimes I get stuck and I have to defend Taboy. It's like you're talking about the guys that are the best in the league, and then you get to play with them every day. So that's why I think I've gotten so much better in the indoor game because I train with those guys every day.
Speaking of that, when you just see a Leo and a Charlie and what they're able to do with the sole of their foot, what they're able to do to manipulate the ball,
Yes.
the play that Leo had for 6-3 on
Mm,
Saturday, the little head fake along the wall. I mean, does
yeah.
it just blow your mind their ability and skill with the ball?
Yeah, every day, every day. I think Leo is our most skillful player in that sense. And actually, when I gave him the ball, he was like, "You gave me a bad ball," and I was like, "Yeah, I know I gave you a bad ball." But then he figured it out. He got up that trouble with that head fake, and then he crossed to Felipe, and they scored. It's like, how you do that? But he's like that. He's good. He's very good.
Tell me about the road trip. And I know you had a chance to draw into a couple of those. Often trips like that are either going to make or break a team. In other words, the team could have gone 1-5 or 0-6 and gone through that, and that was kind of the end of the year. Or even 3-3, you made your way through it, but the team learned a lot about itself, and maybe the guys grew a lot closer together. What was that experience like in the month of January?
I mean, it was the traveling was just a lot. Um, But I feel like Craig with us as a team, or how I feel it is inside. It really does not matter the situation we're in. We always try to find a way. even though we're tired in the road, like with the experience these guys have, we know that it doesn't matter if we slept 8 hours or 2 hours. When the whistle blows, it's time to go. Just because you represent the soccer's, so it just like sometimes all the traveling, mentally, all that stuff doesn't matter that much because we know who we are and what we can do, and I feel like we stuck to that when we knew like, okay, guys, like we're gonna have this traveling. We're not gonna sleep too much. We're not gonna maybe have like the best rest, but at the end of the day, we are who we are. So we're gonna be able to win these games, and we're gonna be able to do this. And I felt like after Baltimore, kind of like everything started like building up together. Because Milwaukee was a hard trip with the cold and everything, and it was an unfortunate game. But then after that, things started looking better. But traveling is hard, of course, and I feel like this weekend coming up is
Yeah.
gonna be the hardest that we had. Like not even close to January because we didn't have any back to back like this.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Saturday, a Valentine's Day night game at Cable Dahmer Arena against the Comets, a team that we're going to see a lot down the stretch with 5 games over the course of the last 11.
Yeah.
And then literally you cannot leave that late at night unless you had a private jet to get out of Kansas City. So the club
Mm-hmm.
is going to be flying commercial. I
Mm-hmm.
believe, if I remember right, it's a 6 a.m. flight out of Kansas City. And if all goes well, the team turns up in San Diego around 9:30, 10 o'clock for a 4 p.m. game. I mean, and meanwhile, Empire gets to sleep in their home beds on
Mm-hmm.
Saturday evening, drive down the 15 whenever they feel like to come take you boys on. I agree. This is going to be, I don't want to say a defining weekend because it doesn't matter what you do, you can still come out of it and win a title. But I feel like if you have a 2-win weekend, that's the kind of weekend that you look back on at the end of the year.
No, of course, and mentally you can play it both ways. You could be, we can come up. Our first mission is to win in Kansas City. Like we have to win that game for sure. That's, and I feel like that's what the team's thinking. We have to go in and win. Now, when it comes to Sunday game, we're like, we don't have nothing to lose just because if we do lose, we have the excuse that we played the day before, the traveling and stuff like that. But then maybe for Empire mentally, that's like, oh, these guys are tired. But then if we come out with a little strength mentally and willingness to win the game and we win it, we're gonna catch them by surprise. And then if we score early and then we win in the game, then that's it. But one thing at a time. We have to win Saturday first, and I feel like that's how the team's thinking. We're not even thinking about Sunday too much right now. It's Saturday first, because we
Absolutely.
gotta beat a really good team, Kansas City, which is they're always really, really, really hard to beat at home. I've gone there a couple times, man, and the energy in that arena is electric. So it's always hard. And away games, everybody wants to beat us at their home. So it's like everybody play the hardest. You know how it is.
All right, last thing for you, and I saved it for last because just in case you want for us not to talk about it, I'll just cut this.
Yeah.
But I was wondering what you would be willing to share about last week and your battle for a spot in the lineup.
Well, it wasn't a battle for the spot. I mean, if it ended up being a battle for the spot, that was out of my control, and I didn't even know that was the case until after it happened. Um, but it was just to keep it short. I don't have to go into many details. It was just a competition we wanted to do, a 1v1 competition, and I didn't ask for it. The older guy was just talking, and then Gavi got into it, and then Gavi kind of got me into it. So he pretty much like sponsored me in a way, be like, "Hey, you got this, you got this." He pumped me up, and it became a whole event, man. It became
It
like a
really
whole
did.
thing, like with walkout songs and bets and stuff like that. And I didn't see it other than I have to just win money, because we were betting money. I had some other teammates betting for money, and it was just a 1v1. We did a half field, first to 3 goals, so no time clock, no shot clock, anything. Just whoever scores 3 goals wins, and then I end up winning 3-0.
Yes, you did.
I end up winning 3-0, and then And then after that, that's when someone told me like, yeah, I think Phil said that whoever wins this game is gonna play in the weekend or something like that. And then I don't know, God works in mysterious ways. I got the opportunity to play and kind of got the opportunity to showcase also what I can do in front of the fans because I haven't played at home in a long, long time, and I was
Yeah.
really missing that feeling. It's been can't remember the last time I played my home. I think I was the first time I played at home since the new turf, since the new
Wow.
like blue turf. Because I think the last game I played at home was against Texas last year when the turf was still green. And so it's
Wow.
been a minute, and I was really really wanting to play in front of the fans because I love our fans and I love the energy.
Well, I'm glad that you let us chat through it because I think what was so remarkable, not remarkable, but it had to be heart-filling for you was the way
Yeah,
your team rallied behind you.
yeah,
They were
they
all rooting for you in a
yeah.
very big way.
No, they did, and that shows how close I am with the team and how much I really like those guys. And at the end of the day, every single player that's on the team, I consider like my brother. I really and I have really close relationship with some of them, people that I think they're gonna be my friends forever. Like after soccer. But seeing that support, really like, damn, they do believe in me. And then when he got to the game, everybody was, "Hey, you got it!" Like it was just words of support and support and support. So I appreciate that a lot.
Hey, we're happy to be filling up your cup, Juan, any way that we can, man. Keep
Yeah,
that thing full. Best of luck this weekend. Congratulations on a great and an affirming week
thank
in
you,
your career. And let's
thank
just
you.
keep building on it, taking big steps forward, my man. And
Of course,
thank you so much for spending some time with our soccer fans here on Soccer's Overtime.
my pleasure, guys, and let's go Sockers. Thank you so much.
Well, well. Great interview. Way to go, Juancho.
Fantastic. He's one of my favorites, man. Like, and this is just kind of the way that I came to the team almost the same time that he did, and so just seeing the way that he's developed into the game, and he's been one of these players that has done everything right. Like he was the player that was sent out to the community. I love that he mentioned that because it was him. The Sockers need somebody to go over to a school, San Juancho, and he was
Right.
somebody who definitely learned the ways of the Sockers and I think that he's the player that I've seen develop and gone through those steps and been just taught by the veterans of the Sockers way. And I love the fact that he mentions that throughout and the fact that he cares so much about it. Like he'll be a goalkeeper if we need him, if that's the case. And he just wants to play for this team and he's been developing very nicely on the pitch. And that's a neat little story there.
Indeed. So I was wondering if he would be like willing to talk about it because I knew that this was something that happened last week. And I've made a very, very oblique reference to it, just saying he had a great week in practice, I think is what I said.
Yeah.
Had a great week in practice. But as point of fact, seeing as it's now a matter of record, because it was asked and answered, a player who has since departed the roster, Marcel Roknapour, challenged Juancho, like straight up challenged him. Like, I'm better than you and I can beat you. Why should he play? I should play, basically. And I'll take you on 1v1. And once the, glove was dropped and accepted, then the match was on and they had the arena floor down and literally they had the kids run out and then they went 1v1 and they couldn't play I think if you played the board, it was out of play.
Mhm.
So it was direct attack, best to 3, basically like half court basketball. White men can't jump, like really drilling down to the basics and with some found footage.
Front wave security cams.
Uh-huh. with some found footage, the truth can be told, which is that Juan dominated the matchup. And as you can see, and I told you, they were very much supporting him. Look at Gabby doing that Irish spring.
The main instigator too. It's like celebrate with the shirt being taken off.
Oh my God. Doing the heel click. Remember when the kid from Tacoma did the heel click?
Yeah.
He was a UCSD player too. I forget his name. Nope. Steal. Look at that. Defense. Defense will keep you in the game. And yeah.
Jeez. I mean, and another thing too that he mentioned that's very important that I take away from that interview. It's so difficult in soccer, in maybe all sports, but just in soccer specifically, to tell an offensive player you need to play defense, and for that offensive player to then turn and say, "Yes, I do. Teach me." And do the motions, and him even recognizing I'm not where I need to be as a defensive player. In the soccer's way, you need to be defense first. And he mentioned exactly what we've heard from Cardenas, from Cerda, from everybody who we've had here on Soccer's Overtime as a guest, as a player. Defense comes first. And for him to say, look, I'm not where I need to be, but I can bring it on offense. I can run. These are my attributes. And I'm learning, guys. I'm learning to adapt those and put those where the Soccers need me to. And as you can tell, he's been rewarded for this. And
yeah.
It's great. It's really good being able to see a player just kind of put that ego aside, the offensive ego aside, and say, what do I need to do? And he's been doing it.
Absolutely. And when you've got a big heart, kind of like what's the old Friday Night Lights, clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. It's kind of that feeling, is that, Juan's taking it seriously. And he's got a full heart, and he said he would do whatever it takes. Defensive runner, as he said, it's a humbling position. That's a great way to put it, because you're literally running backwards all the time when the stars run forwards. Your job is basically to rescue the ball and then run hard to get back to the bench. A lot of times that's what it is, but it's also an opportunity to counterattack. And I would compare it to in box lacrosse, the transition position. Somebody who's a defender, but they get to run down the floor. And if it works out, they get the long ball and they get the breakaway chance. And if it doesn't work out, left turn to the bench, forward runs out. And that's the way the SEALs do things down at the sports arena still. But it's kind of a similar position, that counterattack position. But yeah, I mean, cool story. And cool to see how it's sometimes little things like that can turn something around for a guy. I mean, obviously, if you've got your teammates believing in you, that matters. That means a lot. And then to come out and I was watching back some more of the game film yesterday and today, and honestly, Juan made a lot of decent plays. He did track back. He did take balls away. He did step in on steals. One time, overstepped, and that led to that one for 5-2, I believe. Or maybe it was 5-3. But regardless, those are the mistakes you make along the way too. But he was doing those hustle back, win the ball back type of activities. Those are the ones that truly, truly matter. The goals will come. If people give him his left foot, the goals will come. That'll just happen.
Yeah, and it's good to see that his mentors are also as he mentioned too. Some of the people that he may see as long life friends, and I also like that story about Leo and how much of a perfectionist Leo is. Like, yeah, no, we scored, but you could have done better. I had to figure it out for you, but Leo's just a wizard where he's going to do it. It doesn't matter. He's just going to figure it out, control a ball midair, and put it in between the legs, and before you know it, it's in your back pocket and you're walking into the goal.
Absolutely. So great stuff, Juan Salazar. Very enjoyable. All right, let's transition to the final part of the show. MASL news, Soccer's news, and the MASL news was that Utica, after the 11-4 loss, parted ways with their head coach, Everton Moreira, and ended a 4-year run and a mid-season change. And Tommy Tanner, who is the GM and president, basically, of Utica, will now be the head coach, too. And he's done that before. And so it's kind of like, a one-man band there in terms of soccer ops right now for Utica. I didn't get any feeling of that talking to Everton. I mean, I know there was a camera there, but I mean, like when he was with Phil and whatnot, and I saw him down on the field too, like he seemed really bubbly and positive and moving forward. And I don't know, that could just be his coaching, persona. Certainly Utica is not a great team having a great year. Also, they don't have a lot. I don't really think the team is really underperforming. I mean, I would start with Andrew Coughlin retiring as their goalkeeper. He was always a pretty darn solid goalkeeper. I don't think Wilkins bad, but I think he's probably like a pretty good backup. They didn't even use Xavier. Xavier was in the stands at Front Wave, signing autographs, taking pictures. It was like, phew, what's going on there? Don't know. But after, people like Joey Tavernisi leave, and then their longtime captain retired, Bordeaux. They had Kelvin last year with Nilton De Andrade, with Vinny Dantas. Now Vinny Dantas retired. I saw his post last week saying thanks to everybody, but he's hanging him up. Kelvin's gone. They left him roster. He's not coming back. Not until the league makes a lot more money. I'll tell you that. So I just don't know. I mean, like, every team knows their situation. I don't know their situation. It's all the way across the country. I just know Everton's a very respected guy who was, a winner in St. Louis. He won early in Utica. And he's always seemed pretty solid, but the team, defensively, it's not a very good team. That's for sure. Nonetheless, just seems like, okay, maybe he's got it in situations like this in the MASL, Tony. Sometimes I think, like, I wonder if Everton's just got a different job.
Yeah.
That he can go get, like, go be a coach at a high school or, go do something for the futsal program somewhere. And he's just like, I don't want to do this anymore. And they go, okay, yeah, you know what? Let's save that. Let's save a little coin. We'll let you go do the next thing and move along from there. Because Everton's a pretty respected dude. And I wouldn't be surprised if he wanted to coach indoors that he would pop up somewhere. But in all likelihood, it's just, I don't think he's from upstate New York. So maybe it's just a matter, getting the H out of snowy Utica. And maybe the beautiful California trip was a reminder. Okay, can I just stay here? Just gonna hang around here.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
anyways.
I don't know if that roster can get, for Utica can get any help too. I don't know if Ron Newman can fix that.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. It's pretty tough. What's going on in Utica? It's a great game presentation. I think they've got that thing dialed in up there for their AHL/MASL audience. Looks like they do a really nice job. Just team's not that great this year. So, oh well. So long, Everton. Hope you do well. Hope to see you down the road, brother. Hope to see you down the road. Meanwhile, a surprise popped up in my little YouTube feed yesterday when I opened it up, and there was a live MASL game on a Tuesday morning.
Yeah, morning.
Yeah, like, what the heck is going on? Well, it was Kids Day in Milwaukee, and they've obviously got a deal with the local school district to bus in a few thousand kids and give them all a half day to come out to the UW Milwaukee Panther Arena and enjoy a Milwaukee Wave indoor soccer match. And they trucked Kansas City. The final score was 10-6, but it was 7-1 at halftime. It was an absolute blowout. Second half didn't matter. Kansas City got some goals. Milwaukee got enough to keep them at bay. But 7-1 in the first half was like, whoa. Right now, Alex Sanchez is probably league MVP. I think it's a pretty straightforward call over one of the Kansas City guys. And obviously the Sockers have nobody in the conversation. Charlie would have been in the conversation if he hadn't gotten hurt. At that time, he was right there in the league leaders. But now with everything so balanced and scattered, the Sockers don't even have a 20-point player yet. So they're completely out of the running for MVP and probably for all league, to be honest with you, except for maybe second team or something, because most of the voters just look at, the highest point totals and makes sense, especially in a more balanced league. But Sanchez is killing it. Mario Alvarez is killing it. They're doing this all without Ian Bennett, who, is about the same age as Craig, even though he seems like he's an ageless wonder. But he and Max Ferdinand are the old guard on that Milwaukee team. But the young guard there has taken control. And they look good. And, maybe it's the point of transition getting into the weekend preview, but there's 5 games between San Diego and Kansas City in the final 11 here. And for Kansas City in their final 9, I think 8. So that's a real challenge. Yes. But also, that's great news for Milwaukee. It makes Milwaukee the presumptive favorite to win the Shield and to have home field advantage, and thus to be the favorite to win the Ron Newman Cup this year in Marcio Leite's first year as head coach, because they've got the inside path now. They are technically in first place. That is on the third tiebreaker head-to-head right now that Milwaukee has that, but they've also got 2 games in hand on Kansas City, and the Sockers have 3 games in hand, 3 points behind. So, if San Diego beats up on Kansas City and, look at that record, they're a 9-7 team at the 3/4 pool. So, or the 2/3 pool, pardon me. So they've actually been a little bit better away than they have at home. I mean, they're about the same, 4-3, 5-4. So Kansas City, only +10. They're actually third amongst the big 3 in goal differential. This is a huge game on Saturday for Kansas City to get their ship headed back in the right direction. They'll be in third place in a hot hurry if San Diego wins that game. And it'll be tough for them to get back. But the only way Kansas City or San Diego, and I've said this to the front office staff as well, the only way Kansas City or San Diego wins the Shield is for one of those teams to win 4 or 5 out of 5 and dominate the series. Then they can do it. They can absolutely do it. But if if the series goes 3-2 or 2-2-1, something like that, Milwaukee has clear sailing to first place and to hanging on to it and to having home field advantage come April, and to be hosting the second leg of, to get the first round bye and first round bye and to host the second leg in the semis and the finals if they get there. So daunting challenge, because San Diego cannot beat Milwaukee again this year. They didn't. They went 0-2 resoundingly, but they don't get a third crack to try and take 3 points directly from the Wave. Meanwhile, they'll play the Comets over and over and over again.
Yeah, and I mean, Milwaukee deservedly so, being up there and being the best team in the league for sure. Just even collectively from the moment they started the season. They started the season late, started against the San Diego Sockers, that, again, we've gone on and on about their, fitness levels and player availability when they did meet with Milwaukee. But, they seem like the best team, just team, just capital TEAM. Like that's the standard of the league right now. And for Kansas City, it's going to be tough, but what better way for them to get back on that horse and momentum than to take it to the San Diego Sockers, who are creeping up? And that's the thing too. Kansas City has to realize too that this isn't the San Diego Sockers that lost against Wave twice this year or has dropped a couple of points. This is a healthier version of the Sockers, and this is more related to closely comparable to what you're going to face in that back-to-back-to-back series, right? Like this is the team that you're going to have the most in. So if you drop this one, then the best course of action for Kansas City to do is to learn as much as they can from them this weekend, and then see how you can counterattack and find spaces within the play of the Sockers. And for the Sockers, they just have to make sure that they do what they've been doing, and just almost borrow something from Mikey Vadas's of San Diego Seas. Just focus on your game. Like, don't even look on the other side. You focus on the way that you play, and everything's going to take care of itself. The way of playing, the style, the patient, defensive, possession based, and honestly, beautiful style of play is starting to come back, and it's that flair that is just takes the Sockers from a normal team into just the next level group of all-stars that are collected into one team. And that's going to be the X factor coming down the line.
Yeah. And that's just how I see the standings shaping up down the stretch. This is going to be one that if you win, if looking at it from the San Diego perspective on Soccer's overtime, if the Sockers put it together and actually, let's say 4-1, it'd be really hard. Kansas City's a good team. They've got the players. They've got Reggett. They've got Rion Marquez. He's double-digit goals and assists this year. League leading. One of the MVP candidates. Reggett's another one. Nacho Flores is an organizer. Obviously, Vandegrift in the back, blocking everything. Ramon Palmer. Ejimadu is a good keeper. He's taken the job from Neto, and that's his job. They picked up Francis from Harrisburg, good left foot, good, powerful left foot. So they've got guys, Kansas City's got guys. They've got talent. They've got talent at all three levels. They got Pino. We know Pino. We don't have to fly Pino in. Pino's there waiting for us. They've got toughness as a result. It's a good team. It's a good, solid team. They have lost 7 times in 16 games. That's a goodly number of losses. Everyone's going to have a bunch of losses. We talked about this on last week's show. There might not be 15 wins might win the league. It really might.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at it, the team that has the chance to get highest again is Milwaukee, because they're going to be playing. Let's take a look at Milwaukee's schedule.
Yeah.
Down the stretch. Before I just go off making every bold proclamation in the universe. Maybe they've got 3 consecutive travel back-to-backs coming up. All right. Milwaukee versus Tacoma. Milwaukee versus Empire, back-to-back Sunday and Monday. That's weird. President's Day.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then they've got another back-to-back. This one with... Okay, hang on a second. Is that on the road? Yes, it is. Oh, they're on the road. That's a travel back. Okay, so they're in Tacoma Sunday, and then they go to Empire Monday, and that'll be Empire's back-to-back. They play us on Sunday, and then they come home and they host Milwaukee on Monday. All right. Then Milwaukee flies back home, and then they fly to Baltimore, and then they come home to play St. Louis the next day. That's a really tough schedule, the next 4 games. So that'll be really interesting. Okay, let's go beyond that now. At Utica, all right. Next week, host Milwaukee. Next week, host Empire. Then the following week, host Utica, and then host Baltimore, and then host Utica. Okay, so they're going to win the last 5 games.
Yeah.
So, all right, I double down. I'll double down on this.
Are we hoping
next 2 weeks? The next 2 weeks, if Milwaukee doesn't lose 3 of those 4, or at least 2 of those 4, Milwaukee's inside track. Tacoma 7-1 at home. Can they beat Milwaukee? If they do, that's a tough travel. That's going to be a Monday morning flight for the Wave to fly down to Ontario International Airport to take on Strikers. Strikers have thrown some real duds out there occasionally, like losing to Utica. But, I'm losing faith in them, but still. And then the following week to do the Baltimore at home, and then St. Louis is waiting for you when you get back. St. Louis has been okay. MASL Monday devoted a segment to them asking if they're contenders. I don't know that they're contenders. I think they're contenders to make the playoffs. Absolutely. They're going to make the playoffs. They're certainly going to make the playoffs. I don't know right now who Empire is going to bust out of the playoffs to get in. I thought it was Tacoma, but maybe it still is. I don't know. Milwaukee beating Tacoma in Tacoma would be a big step in that direction, but the Sockers didn't beat Tacoma in Tacoma. They're going to get another chance on the 21st to do that. I think a lot's going to be decided in the next 2 weeks. But if the Sockers and Kansas City beat up on one another and go 2-2-1, Milwaukee will win the division. That is just, I am sure of that. I'm sure of that. They've got Utica twice at home, Empire, St. Louis, no back-to-backs, all rest games. They'll be set down the stretch. So I really do think for San Diego this weekend to be in the actual Shield hunt, you kind of have to pull it off. You have to pull off, as I saw these figure skaters do, the double combination, the quad toe loop, triple toe loop. And that's what it is to go into Kansas City and have to fly the morning of all the way back here to San Diego to play 4:00 Sunday afternoon, Sockers and Strikers.
Yeah. And you're then hoping for a very desperate team that's clawing into playoffs, and, just let that be Empire, let that be somebody else, but just having one of those teams really want it and want it enough to take it to Wave. But then again, you're just statistically the way these things kind of happen, MASL is one of those things where you can kind of mostly predict what's going to happen. I think that's definitely going to be the case. And, it would take a run for the Sockers, including those Kansas City games that we haven't seen from the Sockers in years. Much like, the Sockers Magic Minute is back. Maybe some Magic Sockers season, performances are going to also happen. But, I don't think you're kind of just trusting on what you're able to do again, because you're not going to face the Wave anymore.
Well, this is the toughest MASL in the MASL. There's always been some dummy teams, some zombie teams. I shouldn't say dummy because it sounds pejorative, but what I mean is more of, they're there, but the team's barely organized. They go 3-21 or 2-22. Their 2 wins are at home against the second worst team. That type of team that's just like a write it down win and then some of the teams in the East get to write it down 6 times. Or when it was a terrible team out here, which it was sometimes, then the Sockers could write down 6 wins and just go, well, that's a guarantee. Heck, Ontario used to be a 3-win team that the Sockers could just beat up on and take all of those points. Now they're a much tougher team to face. They've grown that program year over year to get younger and faster and more talented. And they're a tough team to face now. Over and over. Sockers have more talent, but this is going to lead me to the second part of the preview. Is now the question becomes, how about that third wave of Sockers getting healthy? Will San Diego call on Luis Morales this weekend? He's been back in Texas convalescing. Will this be the weekend that he's good enough that they fly him out, fly him a short distance from Texas to Kansas City, for example, and have him play in Saturday's game? And then maybe he stays with the team. Maybe he flies back. I don't know. What about Pacheco? Is Pacheco ready to go? I heard a week ago that he was about a week away. Same with Bebe, like about a week away. Well, if those guys come back, Ben Raymond is very close. He warmed up on Saturday. So Ben could be available for selection. All of a sudden, Tony, Phil and Cheeky could start to play the roster games that they probably intended to play all year. They could send a very veteran-heavy team to Kansas City, and they could leave young legs behind to run on Sunday when the tired veteran team gets back.
Yeah, it's just Morales flying in.
There he is. All right. The answer on Instagram. So they've done that. So Morales is ready to go. So that's huge. That's young legs. That's a kid who's playing in these tournaments, playing back-to-back all the time. Like, all the time. So, he's going to give you what he's got. That's huge. But you see what I'm saying? Like, if they left behind a Pato, I feel like you can't take Reyes out of the lineup right now. But like a Pato, a Sanchez, even in some worlds, a Juancho, that you leave those young legs at home and say, be ready, because we're going to be leaning on you on Sunday, as a huge part of how we're going to beat Empire, because the older guys need to run in threes because they just got back from the airport. Leave you guys young and fresh. That's something that San Diego's intended to do. The intended way to do something like this weekend would be, okay, Boris, you got family in Kansas City. You're going to fly out. You're going to play the Comets game. Chris, stay home. We'll have Lindquist fly out to be your backup in Kansas City. And then, Chris, you're rested and you're ready, and you're going to start on Sunday. That's the way it's supposed to work for San Diego, so that guys aren't getting into these situations where Boris has to play back-to-back in such an exhausting and physically taxing circumstance. Think about how tired you are when you get up pre-dawn and just fly. Never mind playing a professional soccer match on both sides of it, within a span of hours. It's insane. So they're getting closer, and I think that really bodes well for the final form version of this team. And it gives them the opportunity to perform the combination toe loop and maybe go through and pick up a couple of wins this weekend. But don't count out Kansas City, man. The last couple of times San Diego's played in Kansas City, it has not gone well. It's been like 10-6 losses. Christian Andereos running wild. It's not been great. They've been able to dictate things, and they've made the Sockers look pretty bad a couple of times. And so just got to put all of your work into this one, and then understand it's the first of 5 against these guys, and you might meet them in the playoffs too. So you're going to get to know one another very, very well.
Yeah, and that's the smart thing to do, because Empire, let me tell you, they also believe that they can now beat the Sockers if they apply themselves, or if they have a different look, or if they have the legs. And again, this isn't the Sockers that they've faced anytime this year because of the players available, but also the players that they do have available have developed nicely and have what it takes in those moments. So it's crucial. This part of the season is going to be crucial for the long term. Even going back to last week, like, yes, it was Utica, yes, it was the bottom of the table team, but you still needed to take care of business. And I think they also gained that confidence to move forward into the rest of the season on a positive note.
And of course, Gabby Costa is off to Kings League Brazil, and he has left. I think his last practice was the Juancho Marcel duel. It's just hilarious. He's like, I'm actually leaving for Brazil, but I'm sticking around for this. And as such, the midfield, there's a spot open for an Adrian Reyes or a Marcel Sanchez or a Pato. These young guys still have a chance to draw in here, but it's going to get harder for them to keep drawing in unless they keep providing obvious results, because veterans are starting to show up back at the door and say, I'm here, I'm ready to go. I'm here, I'm ready to roll, and you want that. But hopefully it gives him a chance. Here's another guy, for example. Like, wouldn't it be great if Pacheco was back and then you could leave Felipe behind
Yeah.
for Kansas? Because him playing back-to-back, that's tough. With the knee issues he's had, just flying. We saw one time he just got on a flight and his knee blew up. So like, why not, if you could, leave him at home and then you've got those legs fresh for Sunday. Giles, are you going to use that spot? Or maybe that's a spot where a kid takes a trip like, hey, you're young. You don't need sleep. Sanchez, come with us. Craig, stay home. You'll be ready for Sunday. I could really see those being the types of decisions that the club makes. And I think it's smart. I think it's really smart. It's the right way to balance your roster. It's community night. I think you've got the scarf there, Tony.
This was actually a couple years ago.
Oh,
but
okay.
Yeah. I would
for a second. I thought it was. There was one. For a hot minute, there was one in our booth, on Saturday, and then I think it went down to Nick.
Okay.
And then Nick was wearing it at halftime, which is fine. It's fine. I'm going to need one for a Fox 5 appearance on Friday morning, but I'll figure that out myself tomorrow. But the game is at 4:00. First 1,500 get a scarf. There's a community partnership, as it is community night, with the Helen Woodward Animal Center. And I know there's going to be, I think, an adoption event outside before the match. So check that out, and maybe sdsoccers.com for some more information, or check out the socials and keep an eye on it. I saw Boris had a piece up advertising the match. I know our friend Chasen from Front Wave Arena is going to be on KUSI on Friday advertising the match. There you go. Adoption event outside and money from the Frisbee toss going to the Helen Woodward Animal Center.
I love that. That's the most calm I've ever seen Boris.
Oh, and then they threw all the Frisbees at them.
It must be the puppy. Just a moment of zen.
Yes, absolutely. Incredible. So that's going to be a lot of it's a very different style. It's a very different style. So yeah, unique. Check it out. You got to be one of the first 1,500. So get on in there, and please do. And anything else, Tone?
No, I think that's going to be it. Thank you for everybody that's been tuning in to Soccer's Overtime, spreading the word, and really just kind of building this community. I see new people in the chat as well, and just being about it, and get there early. Super Soccer Show, like it's the real deal, man.
Yeah, I think. See, with all of this, I might have 4 guys available, reserves to play in the Super Soccer Show on Sunday, and that would be the first in like well over a month. I'd be sick if it's the case. I'll find out more. I'll talk to Savage tomorrow or Friday. He'll be like, "Arr, burr, 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 burr." Everyone's sick. Everyone's hurt. Everyone's this. But I hope not. Hey, and maybe, just maybe, Juancho has worked his way out of the Super Soccers and into the Soccers.
It's not a punishment, guys. Like it's not.
It's not.
You wanna be in the Soccers, but if you're not, it's Super Soccer Show. You get to be a star and contribute positively on game day.
That is correct. It's still a way to be on the field. And even though it's a somewhat sillier way to be on the field, it's still a way to be on the field and be cheered on by the fans, and to be part of the organization's attempt to entertain the audience. And I think that's what matters, to get folks to come back and to buy tickets to your game. And that's what you want, is folks buying tickets to your game. So in case you can't make it, we will be on Fox Soccer Plus. Is that where they threw the
Yes.
SDFC game the other day?
Yes, that's where that went.
How does it work? Do you need to sign in with your TV provider? Did I go to the wrong place?
Maybe. Let's see. It's Fox Soccer Plus. It shows this. So
Order Fox Soccer Plus. Order.
Again, I've never had cable in my life, so that's all foreign to me.
So the game's on MASL TV, on
They're
YouTube,
beautiful.
just like it always is. If you happen to have Fox Soccer Plus, it's also there. And I'm not speaking ill of the Fox Sports Corporation. I'm just saying that's. I thought it was a website, but it's a channel. So it's a channel. That means you have to have that channel. It showed if you have YouTube TV, maybe you have Fox Soccer Plus. Maybe you didn't realize it. Or maybe it's part of a sports package that you're supposed to buy at a certain level. You know, it's one of those elevated levels where you get the basic and then you get the more and then the even more than that. I don't know. But MASL TV, ubiquitous. The game will be on there. It will be on YouTube. So check it out. Tony and I will have the call with Nick Ferrara and our Moto crew at 4 o'clock on Sunday. And that's it for Soccer's Overtime for this Wednesday. Tony, the busy week for SanDiego.Futbol continues, though. What's going on the website of record for San Diego?
Yeah, so we have a lot of SDFC, San Diego FC and SDFC, the same thing. San Diego FC, San Diego Wave, San Diego Soccer, San Diego everything. Check it out at SanDiego.Futbol on all types of socials, on the website, SanDiego.Futbol, and the GoFundMe is still available to help Chiva and I get to the World Cup and try to cover a potential San Diego FC star honors dryer versus Mexico, Game 3. So that'd be interesting if it does roll out that way.
Outstanding. There's a new episode of Padres Hot Tub that'll be out probably tomorrow morning or maybe later tonight, depending. There's a 12-hour window where it goes first to our subscribers exclusively, so it's out to them right now. But we just talked about the start of spring training, and are we ever going to sign another starter for the San Diego Padres? You can find out everything weekly about the Padres every week. We do it, and you can support the show and get a whole lot more at patreon.com/Padres Hot Tub, where we do all of our live call-in shows, where we do our live post-game shows, where we have a whole separate show called Banter that we do exclusively for our patrons. It's all $5 a month. More if you want to contribute more, but $5 is all we charge to get you in the door. So you can check that out. Chromaniacs last night, we did a live post-game show here on YouTube on SanDiego.Futbol after SDFC heroically lost 1-0 to Pumas, which was enough to win the overall series 4-2 at altitude, just gasping and struggling. And look, there we were last night. And you can check that out right here on the SanDiego.Futbol page. Get all of our thoughts on SDFC advancing to play the Bicampeones of Liga MX Toluca in the second round, which will start March 11th with a game at Snapdragon Stadium. Of course, we'll be back next week previewing the start of MLS as well. All right, that's it. For Tony Sanchez, I'm Craig Elston. Thanks so much, everybody, for being here. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button if you haven't yet on the way out on our YouTube feed, or give us a 5-star review on your podcast feed. And until next time, go Sockers!